I'm really interested in the show because it's really not that usual to have the author of the books, an acclaimed director, and an experienced showrunner working together. So, how was the collaboration process between the three of you?
Wow, it was incredible because of these guys right here. To have this team, to hand your work over to a team like this, and then to have them trust you enough to invite you to be part of that process. I got to learn so much from these guys right here throughout the last couple of years that we've been working on this, and it could not have been in better hands. So I'm just thrilled beyond belief.
Yeah, absolutely, great time. If you can't do better, you got the guy right next to you, right, and keeps you honest, and also he's fresh eyes. The thing that's great about, he doesn't have the experience in the world of filmmaking yet. He's got it now, because Navy SEALs learn like that. They're sharp. But the great thing is that he kept us honest, and he could see things that sometimes we couldn't see, because he became our audience in a way. That's what we all get to do, right? So as a director, they become my audience. As the writer, we become his, right? And then we make the movie, and then the movie's remade again by the audience, right? So that's the experience of working, with these guys. You learn from each other. You learn those things. It's made over and over again. That makes sense?
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to ask something related to that, because I was listening to an interview that Jack gave, I think that some time ago, and he said that usually when someone options a book, they tend to try to get rid of the author.
Get that author out of there. Yeah. It's going to be a pain on set.
That he might force his vision or be demanding that everything has to be done like he says. But what were you able to contribute during the development? And for Antoine and David, I wanted to know how valuable was to have Jack around, not just because he's the author, but because he also has a really extensive military experience.
It was invaluable. My first call after getting this job, pitching Antoine, pitching Chris, my first call after that was to Jack, and we have been talking or texting on the phone every day since then. There is an incredible look inside the warrior mindset in this novel. There's an incredible tale of vengeance, and there's a psychological aspect in the novel that I wanted to amplify. And so as we were making this adaptation happen, Jack was with us every step of the way, making sure that we were honoring the character, honoring the authenticity, and that as we turned that dial on the psychological thriller aspect, it was still something that excited Jack, as Antoine said, our first audience member. So truly, I think as the kind of godfather of the project, Jack made sure that not only we had that authenticity, but that we just went for it. Because that's the other exciting thing about that novel. It's no holds barred. And we wanted to make sure that we were taking that attitude into the filmmaking itself.
Yep, and the other important part of the show, I think that is Chris Pratt, obviously, who bought the rights some years ago, which obviously made him the logic choice to play Reece. I mean, he bought the rights. But what would you say that made him the ideal Reece?
Well, I'll say that as I started typing this book during my last year in the military, there's only one person I thought of playing the character, and that is Chris Pratt. And there's only one person I thought of directing, and that is Antoine. So to have both of them come together, bring Dave in, and then collaborate for the last few years to bring this to life is, it's the typical Hollywood story from what I'm told. This happens most every day in this town. But I was never worried for 1 second that Chris couldn't pull this off. I absolutely knew. I saw that transformation from Parks and Rec to SEAL operator in Zero Dark 30, and I know that he has so much more potential as an actor, and this was an opportunity to show some of that. So he knocks it out of the park. There's nobody better to play this role.
And about that collaboration with Chris during the whole process, as all of you are executive producers like him. So how was it to work as equals in behind the cameras?
It's great. I mean, Chris is consistent. He's a consistent human being. He's the same. When on Magnificent Seven, he was the same guy. We would be filming, and I would look for Chris, and he would be over there fishing himself. He's the same, right? Even as a producer, he's focused, he's in, but that's who he is, right? So when you have a guy like that that's so consistent, that's a good human being, it makes it's fun. It makes it easy for all of us. We collaborate. Good team. He understands what team means. He's open, like we all are, to all our ideas and thoughts, and he brings his creativity to the table. And none of us are afraid to make a mistake, to be wrong.
I was researching about the books, about your books, Jack, and I read that they have been intensely reviewed by the U.S. Department of Defense. So did you have any problem with the show while you were working on the script in terms of whether you could include something or not?
No, the review process is a little bit antiquated. So I did submit the first 3 novels, and they took a few things out here and there. That's all publicly available from our own government. But that being said, the Navy was not knocking down the door to try to help with this production of this film. What's great about that is that there are no constraints. There's not a level of bureaucracy that you have to deal with. There's no limitations. It's all on you and your own creative vision with your team without having a government entity telling you what you can and you can't do and driving any of it. So I actually prefer now that they didn't want to help. And if you've seen the show, you understand why they might not be so thrilled about it.